Ontario, the most populated province and the heart of Canada. Home to the capital of Canada, Ontario is by far one of the most known places in the world, a diverse home for all to come. Now, Ontario has many layers, which makes it the province it is today. These core layers are relating back to one thing: its human geography. In this video, we will be digging deep into what makes this province the place it is today. Ontario's demographic statistics are one to talk about. It's home to 10 main ethnic origins: English, Scottish, Irish, French, German, Chinese, Indian, Dutch, and many more. This province's population pyramid is more on the stable side, but is more heavily populated to the middle age and working class. Ontario allows people to perform their religious practices wherever and whenever they want. They do this by allowing different groups to be able to build their own temples, mosques, churches, etc. We also have many different small sectors and sometimes cities that are dedicated to different types of religions. Examples would be Chinatown, Koreatown, and more. These layers go beyond just demographic statistics, but also migration patterns help us make up most of our diverse population. It all started when Europeans began exploring and documenting places in Canada. As time went on, more and more groups began to migrate to Canada in the 18th century. These groups were mainly from France or French Canadians. They began to build huge cities that slowly became more and more popular throughout the world. The most documented number of immigrants that came to Canada was in 1913 for a total of 400,000 immigrants. Immigration levels in Canada have been on the rise ever since. Canada welcomed a record-breaking 471,550 new permanent residents in 2023 alone. Many of these immigrants have been accepted into Canada as refugees due to wars in Ukraine and Iraq, as well as many of these people migrate from countries which are known to have poor living habits. In 2024, the top 5 countries where most immigrants came from are India, China, Philippines, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. Now, moving on to these immigrant settlement patterns. They took place after their survey systems were in place. Many of these people wanted to start fresh in a new place with active urbanization, so they moved to southern Ontario, where downtown Toronto was still being developed. Many immigrants also had to consider the multiplier effect. The settlement patterns were also affected by the fact that some people wanted to live toward more ports and docks, and an example would be Lake Ontario, which is right by downtown Toronto. Now, even though Ontario is mostly populated in urban areas, Ontario is still covered by 96% of rural areas. Ontario's population distribution is about 14 people per square kilometer. Many of these people settled in major cities such as Toronto, Ottawa, Brampton, and Kitchener. This major province is built and stabilized off of the hard-working citizens' employment based on many of these major industries such as wholesale and retail trade. 8 of these 16 major industries are reported again this February. This shows our hard-working citizens are the backbone of this province. Unfortunately, Ontario has significant labor shortage in several key industries. This means that there are not enough employees to fill the jobs that most people dislike. This province may seem like it can't get any deeper, but now we must dive into our energy consumption. Ontario has 3 main types of energy: electricity, natural gas, petroleum products, and coal. Our electricity powers residential and small businesses and commercial consumers and industrial consumers. To meet the province's needs, Ontario has over 30,000 kilometers of transmission lines and over 260,000 kilometers of distribution lines. As our demand for electricity rises, we must use our different generators, such as natural gas, wind, solar, and biomass. Ontario's supply must be clean and affordable to meet the province's high demands. Total electricity demand in Toronto was at 137.1 terawatt hours, which is fairly normal for this province considering its population and high demand. Most of these energy factories are located in Pickering with their nuclear energy plants and others. Now, don't think that we don't care about the environment. Ontario has many sustainability initiatives in place to help preserve this wonderful place for generations to come. The government in Ontario has invested millions of dollars into helping keep the Great Lakes clean and preserving them, and allowing us to have clean drinking water. We have also begun implement testing on our buses and cars to help reduce the spread of air pollution in our area. Ontario wants to ensure that this city remains alive for a very long time, as well as introducing different laws to help protect our wildlife and land. An example would be the Species at Risk Stewardess Program and many more, as well as $12 million in funding to help keep the land healthy and clean. We have been tackling environmental problems from all three angles, and we will continue to do so until we have created a sustainable environment for all. Lastly, this province has also been getting in some news time in the past few weeks/months. We have just welcomed a new minister into our teachers' union. This means that depending on the intentions of this minister, our children could be getting a better education than most. Ontario is also in the middle of elections for a brand new mayor of the city of Mississauga. Now, our interest rates are rising at the moment, which is causing people to be forced to sell their houses. This is not good for us because this could mean that we have an increase in homelessness in the coming months. Our province has a big part in the news right now, and this is just one of the main reasons it is the heart of Canada and one of the most popular places in the world. Thank you for listening.